What's going on, guys? Back at it again for another episode of the SmackTalk podcast. As always, I'm here with Jonathan Weathers, Kevin Mesnick, as well as NFL Agent Jesse Foreman. My man, Jesse, what's going on, boss?
Nothing, just working. What's going on with you, buddy?
Hey, just working. I consider myself an NFL analyst every single time I watch the sport. I may not be right or wrong. I always say, oh, this guy's coming up. I see him in the mixtape video on Bleacher Report, all this kind of jazz. So I've actually never talked to someone who's actually, recruited these guys to the NFL. So Jesse, can you just explain what you do on a daily basis, being an NFL, agent, scout, whatever you call yourself? You're involved in the game so much that you see things that the average fan doesn't see. So it's very interesting. So Jesse, can you just give us a little insight into your daily life?
Yeah, it just depends on the time of the season. So right now, I'm working on trying to get guys workouts that aren't placed on teams that were rookies that didn't get drafted. And then I'm also recruiting for next season, so watching a lot of game tape of juniors coming up into their senior year. And this year is kind of hectic because a lot of these conferences are canceled. The Big Ten, the Pac-12, their season's canceled. But you have the SEC, the ACC, USA, they're still having their season. So it's just trying to figure out who all is going to come out early and who's going to stay in and what's going to happen with the remainder of the season for these other conferences. So a lot of game film, really.
So, being an NFL agent, you obviously represent, a bundle of players. COVID-19, hindering the league. Obviously, we've seen, college athletics being canceled in the fall. NFL is an iffy one at best right now. How has COVID-19, changed your daily life since you're, representing players in the NFL who may or may not have a season?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed a bunch. So a lot of my guys that were rookies this year, they would have been on a team already if they would have had a pro day. If they would have had different events to showcase what they were doing or workouts. But since there was not really an OTA this year, they did a lot of video stuff they didn't get the opportunity to normally get. And then just recruiting. It switched up the recruiting a lot because if they're not having a season, a lot of these guys are signing with agents currently, and we're trying to figure that out. If there's no season, it's also I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for income this year if there's no season. So trying to every day decide what's the plan for this year. So knock on wood, hopefully it stays where there's a season. We don't have to worry about it.
Absolutely. But both for you and for our entertainment purposes.
Most definitely. And for a few more players.
We're all trying to survive out here, man.
Most definitely. It's a rough year.
I was gonna say, Jesse, you're doing what a lot of people would dream to, man. I would love to be an NFL agent, or just being in that light, meeting those people, being in that experience and that energy. Just being. How did you kind of get into that field? Was that an easy transition for you, or did you always want to do this? How'd you figure out this was your calling?
Man, so I grew up playing football. And then, sorry, I'm on my phone. I'm getting notifications left and right. And then I actually became a nightclub promoter when I was like 15, started promoting team clubs. And then at 17, started doing college night. 21, I opened my own club. And a lot of the Bengals players would come through and just complain about their agents. So I decided, this is my way to get back into the game that I love. And decided to just take that route, start my own agency.
So you say you start your own agency, being an NFL agent. Everyone comes into college saying, I want to do sports management. And it's just a thought in the air. Everyone's trying to manage players. Everyone's trying to be where the money is. But can you just go with a little bit more detail? You go to college, you're trying to be an NFL agent. Who do you talk to? What do you do? And I'm not saying for, someone who hasn't been previously connected into the industry, because, of course, being an NFL agent is all about your network. But can you just give the audience just a little insight of how you would go about that process?
So it was really different for me because when I was in the nightclub stuff and I decided to be an agent at the time, I was in school and I was failing out. I actually was put on academic probation, had to set out 2 semesters. I didn't think college was something I needed because I was doing well in the nightclub industry. So when I decided that was the route I wanted to be was an agent, it was kind of figuring out, all right, how do you do that? And the first thing I saw was to be an NFL agent, you have to take the NFLPA test. And you have to have a graduate's degree. So I started taking college seriously. At the time, my majors were theater and philosophy in undergrad, right? So I was no sports management background at all. Some marketing classes that I had Previously, that was my major before. And then just focused on getting my grades up, taking the LSAT, and went to law school. Went to law school at UC after I graduated from the University of Cincinnati. I just came out and started recruiting guys. And what I did while I was in law school was my first 3 years, I went up to the combine and just kind of hassled everybody in the hallways, trying to get people to talk to me so I could get an understanding of how the industry works, make connections with teams, and get a feel for what I need to do once I graduated.
Wow, man. Yo, that's crazy. So let me get your story straight. You owned your own nightclub at the age of 21.
Yeah.
And then you were also going to school for theater and philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your law degree. And
Yeah.
you were also I need to get on your level, man. Seriously, that's crazy. You also, I'm sorry, you come up as a really tough dude. You seem a lot bigger than me. That's insane, man. That's literally insane. But my question, I mean, we keep asking about the NFL thing, and you know, you kind of talk about your process about figuring out how it works. But I feel like there's kind of an intuition about it, like a feeling. You know what I mean? I have a feeling that this guy can make it. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but have you built anything like that where you've done it for so long, it's kind of like a feeling now instead of a methodical process?
Yeah, I mean, I think playing the games also helped, you know, because I can evaluate a little bit different. But yeah, you get a feeling when you see a guy out there and you talk to these scouts, and the NFL puts so much in the measurements. How big's the player? How fast they run? How high do they jump? So what I look for when I'm looking for a guy that's flying on the radar is somebody that's a great football player that they just think isn't athletic as they are. So a prime example of this is Representative Raven Green from the Packers. When he was a junior, someone clocked him at 4.99 on his pro day. He actually ran 4.49 on his pro day his senior year. But at the time, nobody wanted him because they thought he was a 4.99 guy. But if you watch tape, he's catching backs in the open field. And he's not going to catch a running back or a wide receiver in the open field if he's a 4.99 guy. So it's just kind of seeing those little subtle details that people are missing and kind of getting your name out by that.
So Jesse, you're an NFL agent, but you also own a company called Fan Optic. You know, the viewers at home, can you just explain what Fan Optic is and what your motivation behind the brand is?
Yeah, it was a sports social networking site. So you get on there and kind of talk trash with your friends. And I mean, a lot of the social platforms we are on, we do that already, but I don't want to go on and see a bunch of political posts or posts about cats or these crazy memes and GIFs. I just wanted to see something about sports. So it was just something to go on and talk to your friends about it, get involved.
Right on.
So, you know, the NFL this season, there's a lot of, you know, mysteries, a lot of question marks, you know, Tom Brady to the Bucs, a lot of things going on in the NFL, a lot of changes. You know, just today, Alvin Kamara, you know, requesting a trade from the Saints. You know, being an NFL agent, being in the loop so much, do you have any sleepers this year? You know, too bad I already did my fantasy draft. You know, I can't do any, you know, tips sleepers from you, my man. But anyone that you have an eye out on this year that –
What up? Because I got my fantasy draft is tomorrow, so I'm about.
Mine's next week. Keep going.
So talk to me, Jesse. Tell me something.
I mean, Henry Ruggs. I got a receiver on the Raiders, and he
Absolutely.
I got him.
So get him. Plus with Williams getting hurt, I think that opens up where he's going to be really tearing it up. So I think he's a good one. Winthro's on that team. He was my last pick in my draft.
What about a guy like Brian Edwards?
Yeah, I think Brian Edwards would be a good pick for sure. Auden Tate from the Bengals. If you want like really sleepers, like the guy you can get very last, Mr. Relevant. These are the guys. Ruggs you probably won't be able to get, but Winthrow, Auden Tate for the Bengals. These are guys you get probably very last pick that I think will have pretty decent years this year.
Got you. Well, I'm a huge Raider fan. I'm a diehard Raider fan, so I already know, you know, the deep sleepers in the league. But it's more about, you know, getting those perfect 4th and 5th round picks that really solidify your team, which is people don't understand. You know, it's not about your bench, it's really about the starters.
Yeah, I mean, the 4th and 5th round, Scary Terry for Washington. That receiver's he's special.
Got him also. Terry McLaurin, baby.
Yeah. He's a special kid. So. He was my 4th round or my 5th round pick, and I like that pick. Probably might have to get him higher in some leagues, but he's pretty good. More
So with the
Panthers is pretty solid too.
with
Probably
the
one
with
of
the with the NFL
Would-
season coming up, do you have any teams that you're kind of looking at that are going to end up being dominant? You think? I mean, me and Weathers here. We're Patriots fans, and we have a crazy offense this year. They're going to be way different than what I think that we're expecting with what we had with Brady.
Yeah.
So do you have any teams that are? I mean, I'm just talking about the Pats, but if you have any other teams you think are on the rise that have built something in this
talk
offseason?
about the Pats.
Yeah, maybe. But,
I don't mind. Tell me about Cam.
Reality is right now it's the Chiefs' league to lose, right? Like I don't see anybody knocking them off. They just got better. Some teams that'll probably be contenders this year. I don't think the Pats are going to be up there, unfortunately. I mean, I feel like that scheme's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be as good as it was before. I would say teams that really look to take a jump this year would be I think the Raiders could take a pretty good jump this year. I think they might be all right this year.
Jake.
Am I in a twilight zone? You gonna tell me the Patriots are gonna take an L, but the Raiders gonna be all right?
Yeah. Honestly, I like what they got going on over there. I mean, they locked in a great coach, and then Maddox's become a great GM, and they kind of sort up the wide receiver core, and I think they're gonna be legit. I already got a receiver on there, Rico Gafford, so hopefully he gets some more playing time this year, and I think they're gonna be all right.
Do you
Are
believe
you
in
a
that
believer
quarterback
in
spot?
Derek Carr, though?
What'd you say?
Cav.
We think the same thing. No, are you a believer in Derek Carr? I mean, I watched Jake get disappointed. I went to college with Jake. We did, but me and Weathers did. We watched Jake get disappointed every weekend.
Every
with
week.
the Raiders.
Every week. The sadness.
Every weekend. So, I mean, Derek Carr is constantly trying to prove himself every single season. And, I'd like to see him do it. I really liked him in his first couple of years at the Raiders. But right now, I don't know. So
I believed in him. He's got a strong arm, but it's just the consistency. He can never put it through. It's like he started the first 4 strong or the last 4 strong, but it's never together. Ever.
Well, I think the good thing with him this year,
season.
he's got the weapons where he doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, Josh Jacobs really is special, and that's going to open up everything for these receivers. And the receiving core this year is really, really impressive. I know they're young, but I think they're going to be a tough team to beat this year.
Well,
What's your take on?
Let me just add this, Jesse. I've been a Raider fan my 21 years on this earth. They've never had a winning season when I'm alive, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. I mean, your client, Rico Gafford, I'm a big fan. But just talking about the offense, it really doesn't matter in Oakland, well, now in Las Vegas. The defense has been pitiful for 21 years. It doesn't matter if Carr has a good game. The defense will never show up. And when the defense shows up, it's almost like a reversed order. Carr's not there. So in my personal opinion, yes, we do have the coaching staff to get us there. We got, an ESPN analyst as the GM. We got Gruden back, 10-year deal. We're doing what we can. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be enough. That defense will never, ever be enough unless they really focus on the primary issues, which is quarterback. They have the rushing attack, but it's can you stop Patrick Mahomes, or are you going to let him throw 55-0 on you like they did last season? So it's just a really interesting topic. Raider fans like to hate on Derek Carr per se, but in my personal opinion, there's no point of even having a quarterback if you can't stop the other side of the ball. So it's just a really interesting predicament with the Raiders. A lot of people, and analysts included, believe that they'll be a good team this year and next year and the next year and the next year. But the issues, are still present in that locker room.
Yeah, they're not going to beat the Chiefs. I mean, I'm just saying they're going to improve a lot this year. You guys will be maybe a wild card team. I'm not saying you're winning the Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
He's not making a parlay on the Raiders.
You got carried away, huh? You thought you said ship. No.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about them being better than they previously were. I think they're going to take a jump, but yeah, they're not contenders by any means. That's for sure.
What's your take on Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers? I know a lot of people sleep on him. I'm one of those people. I think Tom Brady's the GOAT, obviously. You can't tell me different. So
Tom is the GOAT for sure.
Cool. I'm glad we're on the same page with that one.
Yeah.
But where do you rank Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he can get to that level, or do you think that next ring is kind of what's stopping him from getting to even close to that level?
Even if he got the next ring, he's not getting the sticks. I mean, he's
no
downhill side of things. I really loved their draft pick. People hated that so much, but Jordan Love, he's got the potential to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Not that he will. because he's very off and on. But if he becomes stable and plays at his top performance, he'll be the second best quarterback in the league if he could play at maximum capacity at all times. Just get him there.
What makes you say that, man? Because I don't understand it. These college analysts, these NFL analysts, they like to talk about Jordan Love. I don't know if you saw him against Utah State last year. The guy couldn't throw against UNLV.
That's what I'm saying. He's very on and off. That's the issue with him. So he has games where he flashes what he can do, and then he has games like that one. So if he can get consistent with his running ability and his arm, and if he's at his max in both ways, he's going to be special.
Jake, this is what makes Jesse an NFL agent and you and I not NFL agents. This man sees the potential in people, even if we call them on and off. So I think I just got my taste of the talent. So
all the teams we're seeing out there, they all see the same thing. It's just, will he live up to that potential?
Talking about living up to that potential, MVP talk this year, in my personal opinion, it's all about the quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson coming out last year, dual threat quarterback, can run it, can throw it. In my personal opinion, a lot of people doubt me, say all this kind of jazz. I personally think Kyler Murray, at a shot at the MVP this year, very similar resilience to Lamar Jackson last year. And I just feel like this is his year to pop off. DeAndre Hopkins, they got him some weapons over there. They got old David Johnson out of town. It looks like a fun time to play in Arizona. What's your thoughts on Kyler Murray? Do you think he has what it takes, to be an MVP caliber quarterback?
He's my starting quarterback in fantasy, so I'm hoping so. I think that's like a big league too. He had a decent first year, and like you said, he added the weapons. And he's a guy that you can get pretty late. I think he's like the sixth quarterback taken. So he's going to be my starter in both my leagues. But hopefully he has an MVP season. I'll just be happy if he finishes top 3, which I think he can. There's the potential. He's small, though. He's smaller than they say he is. I met him at the combine, and he's not as tall as they say he is.
Well, the follow-up to that, boss, is does Bill O'Brien hate football? This guy's out here trading guys for what?
He definitely does not hate football. He's got good football knowledge.
And trading players for Laffy Taffy.
He's one of those guys that you take advantage of part of the fantasy group, that you just send him the trade and he'll accept it. I have no idea what's going on.
So true.
Listen, a big part of an agent's job selling the team. So I love all the team personnel, and I think they're all very great at what they do. So.
Well.
There's a business aspect to that. If someone sees that, you can't be out here saying bad things about any.
Well, all right. Let me change the subject then. I mean, we could go through every single NFL team, and I know that we don't have all day to talk. But lastly, I'd like to talk about what you see in the potential of the Buccaneers this year, because they added Gronk, they added Brady. I'm not really a big believer when you add the old all-stars together to get together for the team. I'm a big hockey guy. It's never really worked out when they get all the old guys together. So I want to see. I want to know what you think about the Bucs this year. Do they have, the weapons besides Mike Evans and Gronk and Brady to actually make a team that's gonna go farther than breaking even, like with an 8-8 record, which is what I think is going to happen.
Well, I've got a player on the Bucs, and I'm also a huge Tom Brady fan, and I think they will be really good this year. I don't know if they're going to win their division. The Saints are really tough. But they'll be in the playoffs for sure, and I think they'll make a run. I wouldn't be shocked if they won it all. I would not be shocked if they won it all. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they lost the first round of the playoffs. So it's kind of in between there.
That's kind of where I'm at, too. I might have to call Kevin after the show at that 8-8 comment. They got 8-8.
What? Listen.
Have you seen that? No, Kev. No. Have you seen that? What they have? Their weapons.
Yeah.
I see it.
How did that go 8-8?
Listen. I'm a Belichick believer.
5 years.
I'm a Belichick believer. That's the thing. You need a guy who knows how to shoot the weapons. You know what I mean? And
I agree with you. But Belichick hasn't thrown a completion. Tom Brady's got a bunch. I'm gonna go with Tom.
All right. That's fair. It's weird. This is like we're like splitting up because Tom left the pad. Me and Weather used to be high-fiving each other every day.
Not anymore.
Look at us.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great, Bill and Tom, but I'm sticking with Tom. And I don't think he's going to prove as much. I mean, if he wins it all, he proves it, right? He proves that it was him a lot. But I think that either way, no matter what happens, history is going to say they both are the greatest at what they do, right? Absolutely. Tom's definitely the greatest. Bill's up there as one of the greatest. I mean, I'm a huge Bengals fan, so I'm partial to Paul Brown. But
okay.
Yeah, and I feel your pain of the Raiders. We haven't had a season in forever.
Well, that goes into one more question. Joe Burrow entering as the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's going to do what they say he's going to do, or is he going to be another person that falls in the mix, just like every other, like quarterback that wins a Heisman and comes into the league? We seem to see like a 50% success rate now, at least in my lifetime. So.
Yeah, quarterbacks from big programs are not normally as good as quarterbacks from smaller programs. I will say this about Joe Burrow. I've got season tickets to the Bengals. I'm friends with a lot of the people on their staff. They make me very upset about their lack of respect for offensive linemen, and it's going to be hard for any quarterback to perform well if you don't have the linemen there, right? So I feel like Joe's going to struggle the first year. I know Jonah Williams is playing pretty well. And Trey Hopkins is playing pretty well, but that's 2 out of 5, and they got to shore up that line a little bit. We got the weapons, so it's going to be intriguing. They say he's got a quick ball release, so if he can get it out really, really fast, he might have a great first year. But
I like Joe. I think he's got a good potential, and I hope he does well. But the guy that I got my eye on that's going to be a rookie is I'm a big Bama fan. Roll Tide. So what do you think about Tua? You think he's going to bounce back from that injury? You think he's going to do well on the Dolphins, or you think that they're just sending him downhill to end his career early?
I was never a huge Tua fan, honestly. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I mean, I love Ruggs. I love Jerry Jeudy. I love pretty much that whole team.
Right.
So I kind of feel like I could have been the quarterback there for a couple of years, and they'd have been all right. So I don't know. He's got a lot to prove to me.
You feel like he's more of a system quarterback than a –
Yeah, especially in college.
Right, I get that.
So Jesse, your entire life is all about networking. Obviously, as you say you met Kyler Murray during the training camp or the NFL Combine. You're friends with some of the people, Cincinnati Bengals. What have you learned? Being an NFL agent, meeting all these people. What is the most prominent thing that you've learned through meeting so many people and putting yourself out there and your image out there? And to follow it up, what can you tell people at home, like myself, who are 21, 22, trying to manage, a group of players, trying to get into the world of sports, but don't understand how, in order to get that spotlight, that networking, what can you tell them? And what can you tell our audience? What is the most things that you've learned personally, being in the limelight, being in, the pressure point, I would say, of the NFL, getting all these big contracts done. You're doing a lot for these players. You're basically their mentor in the sense of getting their money, getting everything secured. So what can you tell us, the SmackTalk audience, Jesse Foreman, how an NFL agent, learns and, reacts to situations on a daily basis?
Yeah, I mean, the key things, and I figured it out before I was an agent really, in the other industries I've been in, is you got to hustle. You got to get out. You got to meet people, get face-to-face with people, and show them who you are, and make sure you treat people right. I mean, there's 800 NFL agents, and I would say 700 of them I wouldn't trust to do anything because they're just not good people. So it's easier to beat out people when people don't want to work with them, right? If they know that they're going to be lying to them or negative or cause problems, it's easy to beat those people out. Just do what's right and help people out. Like if you achieve anything, help out anybody you can. And when I was in law school and I was trying to meet people, most agents wouldn't give me the time of day. And a lot of these people come from families that are well off and had connections with coaches or teams or scouts. And they have this chip that they're above other people. And I mean, the key is just helping other people succeed. If you help other people, they're going to help you.
Exactly. Well, it's definitely wisdom, in my personal opinion, it's always been networking over my net worth, So I rather go out there, lose a couple bucks just to, be able to get myself in that kind of circle. Being in the media agency, obviously it's not the same thing as, handling and managing players, but kind of the same realm. You always want to be professional. You always not want to, screw people over, because obviously you get to a production, you're 30 minutes late, they're going to choose someone else. You're being dishonest, they're going to choose another agent. They're going to find someone else to give their time and money to. So I think that's really good, word of advice, Jesse. I really do appreciate you coming on. Our audience at home, where can they find you on social media?
On the Instagram, I'm the NFL Agent.
Nice.
On Twitter, I'm NFL Agent 1. And then the Jesse Foreman Facebook page. Instagram's really where I'm at. I think I'm trying to get that blue check. So last I checked, I think I'm 21.1 thousand followers. So Instagram, give me the blue check already. I've got enough audience and enough write-ups. So
We'll get you verified.
Back to them. Yeah.
Get Jesse verified.
Hey, get Jesse verified. The Mr. NFL Agent, Jesse, I appreciate you for coming on. And as always, this has been another episode of the SmackTalk podcast. I'm your host, JR Sports Media, and it's just like that.